Golf Destination is brought to you by Goslings of Bermuda, the spirit of Bermuda.
Today on Golf Destination, we revisit New England's dream course, the Lake Winnipesaukee Golf Club, and the brilliant fall colors. Golf course designer Ian Andrew talks about updating a classic course. All of that and more next. Hello and welcome to Golf Destination, presented by Goslings of Bermuda. I'm your host, Meredith Gorman. There is nothing like fall in New England, and for the membership at Lake Winnipesaukee Golf Club, there is nothing quite like playing amongst the fall foliage. The Lake Winnipesaukee Golf Club is located on 700 acres of land in both New Durham and Wolfboro, New Hampshire. The course opened the first tee in 2004, and it was all the vision of entrepreneur Bernard Chu. Bernard signed international golf architect and former European Tour player Clive Clark to lay out this par 72 track. This pristine layout flows through the tall, mature pines with amazing views of the Presidential Mountain Range and several lakes from the lakes region. The course, however, is more than just pristine conditions and beautiful views. It's a course that offers plenty of birdies, but can also have you writing a 6 or 7 or 8 on your card as well. Clark and Chu worked closely throughout the process, and it shows. Clark, the professional, was keen enough to listen to Chu as he offered his perspective, having a handicap in the teens. Many of those who have the opportunity to play it always leave with the memory of hitting out of the white silica sand from Georgia, or the many risk-reward holes that have heightened and ruined many a round. The course is a championship layout, and it has hosted 4 New England Opens, as well as many state championships, including the Mid-Amateur Championship. Golf writer David DeSmith knows a thing or two about golf courses, having traveled around the globe playing some of the world's best. In David's mind, Lake Winnipesaukee ranks right up there.
The things that characterize Lake Winnipesaukee Golf Club are the elevation changes. You are constantly playing downhill or uphill, and often on the same hole. I think there are only 2 flattish holes on the entire course. So oftentimes you're hitting downhill off the tee and then uphill on your second shot. The par 3s are all downhill or uphill. It's like playing 3-dimensional chess. You have to be thinking 3 dimensions and really play all the shots. It's a terrific design, and a lot of different tee boxes they use on different days also. So a lot of variety. The routing is terrific. And the club overall just has a great vibe. It's really low key, it's friendly, and it's in one of the most beautiful places you'll ever see.
Every year, Lake Winnipesaukee Golf Club is rated as one of the best in a very competitive field of upscale private courses. And it's no wonder, as the magnificence of the course transcends into the fantastic New England-style clubhouse with its custom-made furniture and finishings. Now let's take a look at the front 9 at the Lake Winnipesaukee Golf Club. The first hole is an ideal opening hole. Play an iron off this tee from this elevated par 4, or if you feel it from the range, pull out the driver and try to reach the green. The second hole is a solid 3-shot par 5, but can be reached in 2. Its name is Bottleneck, as a hazard creeps into the fairway on your second shot. The third is a dogleg right. Land safely in the fairway and you will have an uphill shot to the green. Be wary of front pin placements. If you are short or have spin, you'll roll down to the fairway. 4 is named Silica because of the sand that protects this downhill par 3. It can play over 200 yards, so club selection is the key. The 5th is the number 1 stroke hole on the course, and it is a dogleg left with hazard protecting the left side of the fairway. Bite off as much as you dare. The 6th is Turtle Shell, and it plays a little uphill with a somewhat narrow green with sand protecting the front and the back. The 7th is a double bender, as its name would suggest. Long hitters will have the opportunity to go for it in two with a good drive. The green is subtle and very tricky. No mere human gets to the green in two on the par 5-8. 3 good shots are required, with the approach playing a little less than the number. The 9th is a straightforward par 4 of about 350 yards. Your approach needs to be accurate or you'll have a deep bunker shot. Up next, we take a look at the back 9 of Lake Winnipesaukee Golf Club, and we'll learn what is necessary to update a golf course that is over 115 years old.
Goslings of Bermuda, the spirit of Bermuda. The Preserve at Boulder Hills, Club and Residences, New England's most amenity-rich Four Seasons lifestyle community.
In the heart of New England is the country's finest Four Seasons sporting club and residential community, the Preserve Club and Residences, a 3,500-acre backyard the whole family can enjoy for generations. Sporting clays, golf, spa, hunting, and more. Adventure, exclusivity, serenity. The Preserve Club and Residences, the adventure you always wanted, the luxury you've earned. Now offering stay and play packages. Call now to reserve your stay today.
A one-of-a-kind combination, the delicious taste of Bermuda's national cocktail, the Dark and Stormy, in a trendy and convenient 8.4-ounce can, ready to drink. The sleek cans are perfect for golf, boating, the beach, or any cooler or fridge. Pop open a cold Dark and Stormy can and have an instant party. Glass and ice are optional because it's frigid and flavorful. Enjoy, because things could get wild.
Consumers today are bombarded with millions of marketing messages every day. Outbound marketing like interpretive ads, direct mail, cold calling just don't work anymore. The sociable approach to marketing attracts individuals to your product by developing unique programs, postings, video series, and content delivery across all your social media platforms. Content that they enjoy and will convert them into lifelong customers. Let's start trending sociably.
If sweat is your body's natural way of cooling itself down, then condensation is a beer's natural way of saying, drink me. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
This segment is brought to you by Goslings of Bermuda, the spirit of Bermuda.
Welcome back to Golf Destination, presented by Goslings of Bermuda. Now let's take a look at the back 9 of the Lake Winnipesaukee Golf Club. You start off the back much like you started off your round, with a downhill par 4 that is reachable with a good tee ball. The green is the trickiest on the course. The 11th offers 2 sets of tees with slightly different angles. The tee on the right side brings the trap more into play, just beyond the correct side of the spine in the middle of the green. The 12th named sliver is a solid par 4. You'll have more landing area than what you see on the tee. The green is protected by bunkers and is positioned little left to right. Tombstone is a fun go for broke par 5 that plays downhill. Hit over rocks on the left side and you may have a mid-iron into the green, or your ball may go into its final rest. The approach is over a hazard and bunker. The 14th is a dogleg left. Right to left ball flight is a must to ensure that you don't have a long iron into a tough green. The 15th is another fabulous par 3. It's short, but with the swirling wind, it's sometimes difficult to judge. 16 is called Double T. aptly named because it has 2 tee boxes. The low tee box plays as a tough dogleg right to an elevated green. The hillside green is a picture postcard as you use the canoe as your aiming point for your tee ball. You won't see the bottom of the pin, so trust your yardage on your approach. The 17th is a dogleg right that has danger everywhere. Get it up onto the fairway and have a 200-yard approach. Favor the left side of the fairway. This green is slick. The 18th is a fun uphill finish hole framed by the beautiful clubhouse. Your approach again is to a slightly uphill green, and the green breaks left to right. In 2015, Thorny Lea Golf Club hired Canadian architect Ian Andrews. The goal was to begin work on the club's master plan on their course that dates back to 1900.
The way I found out about Thorny Lea was kind of interesting. Bill Corr, who I consider one of the best architects in the entire business, actually had recommended me as a candidate to the golf club. One of the things I really enjoyed about Thorny Lea when I first came to the golf course was how understated it was. And I think in today's day and age, a lot of architecture is over-contrived. And it's more about how the ground plays, and it's more about how the green contours play than being sort of flamboyant or showy. And immediately, whenever I go out to a golf course like that, I'm always impressed. I'd actually walked the course, I think, 3 or 4 times before I put my initial report together. And my initial reaction was that spectacular trees, but they needed to remove a lot of trees to improve the growing environment, just so they get a lot more sunlight into the greens. I loved the way the golf course lay in the land, but it needed the grassing lines to be adjusted, some fairway lines, but particularly around the greens. I found a lot of the greens had shrunk, and a lot of the short grass areas had sort of been lost over time. It was a real massive opportunity to really improve the architecture right away. When you get greens out to their original edges, you bring those drops or the bunkers or any of the features far more into play. Tree removal is the most complicated thing I deal with. It's a very emotional topic for a lot of people, and a lot of people believe that every tree is sacred. Tree removal does not mean it's going to go from a parkland to a links. Often it just becomes a nicer looking parkland. But once they start to understand that you're identifying specimens, that you're not losing the character, and actually as it opens up they start to embrace the land and realize that they're getting to enjoy more of their property, people start to become supportive. And the interesting thing is I generally find the first step is tough, the second step is easy, and the third step usually they're pushing rather than I'm pushing. It's one of the interesting things about being an architect is you have to actually remove how you play or how you think, or even your perceptions of how, and you just think, you need to think holistically of everybody. And one of the things I've always pointed out to I never used to, but as I've got long enough in this business and I can afford a little bit of the risk, I do point out occasionally you're thinking about your game only. And I will say that now when I walk around, and not a lot because it's confrontational and you don't really want to be, but every once in a while I will, somebody who's consistent about, you know, here's another bunker on the left-hand side right in the landing zone, and this is where I hit it. And it's not all about you. It's you know, some things are going to affect you, some things are not. But there's a holistic viewpoint. You've got to trust me on that.
Up next, we hear more from Ian Andrews, and later we'll visit the preserve in South County, Rhode Island.
The thought of mixing my award-winning Black Seal rum with any old ginger beer drove me to this. Gosling Stormy Ginger Beer. Perfectly made to make the perfect dark and stormy.
In the heart of New England is the country's finest four-season sporting club and residential community, the Preserve Club and Residences, a 3,500-acre backyard the whole family can enjoy for generations. Sporting clays, golf, spa, hunting, and more. Adventure, exclusivity, serenity. The Preserve Club and Residences, the adventure you always wanted, the luxury you've earned. Now offering stay and play packages. Call now to reserve your stay today.
There's actually a way to improve on Gosling's slowly aged Black Seal rum. Added to Gosling's finely spiced ginger beer. Result? The trademark Dark and Stormy.
If sweat is your body's natural way of cooling itself down, then condensation is a beer's natural way of saying, drink me. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
Consumers today are bombarded with millions of marketing messages every day. Outbound marketing like interpretive ads, direct mail, cold calling just don't work anymore. The sociable approach to marketing attracts individuals to your product by developing unique programs, postings, video series, and content delivery across all your social media platforms. Content that they enjoy and will convert them into lifelong customers. Let's start trending sociably.
This segment is brought to you by
Welcome back to Golf Destination, presented by Goslings of Bermuda. I'm your host, Meredith Gorman. We now return with more from Ian Andrew.
Stiles and Van Cleek plan is hanging in the clubhouse, and I already had the plan with me, so I was familiar with it. But I went out and walked the golf course, got a feel for everything. I went out again with the Stiles plan and looked for what was original and what was not, and then sort of made an assessment of the features that were no longer there or were never built, because there were a couple of things that were never built, because I had an old aerial that confirmed some of it wasn't built according to plan. I would say it's 90% restorative, but there are a few new bunkers, largely based upon the Stiles plan. The biggest problem with the 10th hole at Thorny Lea was the fact that there was no sunlight to the green site. So the oaks came off the back. There was 10 of them in total, or 14 of them in total that actually came off the back. That was one thing, but the other end of it is the whole sort of climax is on this beautiful plateau. And as everything sort of climbs, the trees take away the setting itself. By removing the trees, you realize how high that plateau is, how important it is to hit that plateau, because everything sheds into the bunkers, every miss is a disaster. And by removing the backdrop, it actually emphasizes the architecture. So sometimes the absence actually is a better emphasis for what you're trying to focus the golfer on, the green site. The 12th was one of the most important to me because it's a really interesting hole, the way it slowly moves to the right, and yet you've really got to play hard up that right-hand side to set up for the proper approach into that green site. The problem being is that whole interesting ridge that follows the right-hand side of the fairway is all covered in trees, and they're actually overhanging the fairway, so you can hit a ball into the fairway and not have a shot in. So we're removing all the trees off that ridge. So the ridge will now be a fescue ridge, very typical of what you'd see on New England golf courses. But what it allows you to do now is to really take a ball down that right-hand side and be well rewarded with position. And now when you go to set up for your approach into the green, you're going to have a great angle and you don't have tree trouble down that side. I find people's reactions vary on different items. So with tree removal, I find I either get that immediate awesome or what did you do? That's sort of how it goes always on trees. The interesting thing about tree removal though is as people get used to get that initial couple of weeks behind them where they're still trying to come to terms with everything that's gone, they start to realize that it's not so bad. And then usually by the end of the year, I get a lot of the same people that were very panicky initially said, no, I get it. I fully get what you're doing. Are you going to do some more? The main reason we need to do that is to improve the airflow in each of those green sites. But the other reason is, again, to identify the best of the trees. There's a few issues of playability, and there's just to really declutter some of these areas so that clutter tends to attract your eye, whereas when you've got less clutter, you tend to focus the eye back on the golf course. And everything that we do as architects is about trying to bring the player's eye back to the features that matter most, particularly the greens. The 16th is an interesting hole for me because I can't do anything with the left-hand side, and as much as I love the idea of being able to shortcut it going over the creek, the road becomes a real serious issue for both the club and myself. So what we're going to do is widen up the right side so that you can hit it much further down and choose your angle, whether you want to play to the traditional end of the fairway now or play much further down and shorten the hole and try the hole from a slightly different angle. What I'm trying to do is just provide a lot more options, in particular a lot more options playing a little further right off the tee. And when there's no decision, there's no interest in golf. Whenever you have decisions, you're engaged, and when you're engaged, you're locked in, and that's what we enjoy most about architecture.
A one-of-a-kind combination, the delicious taste of Bermuda's national cocktail, the Dark and Stormy, in a trendy and convenient 8.4-ounce can ready to drink. The sleek cans are perfect for golf, boating, the beach, or any cooler or fridge. Pop open a cold Dark and Stormy can and have an instant party. Glass and ice are optional because it's frigid and flavorful. Enjoy, because things could get wild.
In the heart of New England is the country's finest four-season sporting club and residential community, the Preserve Club and Residences, a 3,500-acre backyard the whole family can enjoy for generations. Sporting clays, golf, spa, hunting, and more. Adventure, exclusivity, serenity. The Preserve Club and Residences, the adventure you always wanted, the luxury you've earned. Now offering stay and play packages. Call now to reserve your stay today.
If sweat is your body's natural way of cooling itself down, then condensation is a beer's natural way of saying, drink me. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
This segment is brought to you by the Preserve Club and Residences.
The Preserve's really a special property, and we're very proud of everything that we have here. And one of the newest elements of the Preserve is our new range, and I'm very excited about it. It's 50,000 square feet. There isn't anything else like it in the country. We have 150 yards indoor and underground, and the wonderful thing about it is we have an automated retrieval system, which nobody else has in the country, with anything that's of this length. We didn't spare any expense here. I mean, we wanted to have the finest shooting facility in the country, and I believe that we've achieved that. One of the things that was important to me as a sportsman was to bring my expertise in the construction development field into what we're doing, because I think people love quality. So this 50,000 square foot structure was very well planned out. We put in the E6 Golf, True Golf software, which allows our golf players to come here and use a golf simulator. One of the other things, you know, we have the range and we have sporting clays. We try to create indoor and outdoor activities that you can do that are so very similar. So we have the FATS training system, which is the Mega Firearms Tactical Training System, which allows people to use simulators inside that show active shooter training, and that's pretty exciting. So along with our sporting shop and our range, we've also started the Preserve Academy, and we've done that along with Bob Cardenti from Armed and Ready. He is one of the highest rated NRA instructors and has a wonderful CV in the region. So we actually partnered with Bob to help kick off our academy. So we do things like active shooter training, 33 state carry permits, women awareness, children awareness, gun safety, all the way from beginning safety to tactical and active shooter training. One of the really wonderful other elements that we have at the preserve is our lounges. And what we really wanted to do here and create was truly a country club. You know, the amenities here, we've done such a wonderful job. Marie Simone from Live Interior has appointed this place as nicely as possible. Everything that she chose, from the taxidermy that we chose, there's, you know, millions of dollars in hunts in this room and lots of stories, to the leather, to the chairs that I'm sitting in. I couldn't be more proud of the result. I mean, it's really, it's come out quite stunning. We just continue to grow. The Preserve family continues to grow. The membership is doing wonderfully right now. The property and the new plans are taking shape for what we're going to be doing in the fall and in the spring. Our new tents are all set up, which is wonderful. Our yurts are going in right now, and you know, it's coming together one piece at a time. So I'm excited to see what this season holds.
Thanks for joining us on Golf Destination, and be sure to check us out online at golfdestination.tv. I'm your host, Meredith Corman, and we'll see you next time on Golf Destination.
Goslings of Bermuda, the spirit of Bermuda. The Preserve at Boulder Hills, Club and Residences, New England's most amenity-rich Four Seasons lifestyle community.